with Beard! Hello, podcast kittens. It's Cathy Cat and...
Oh, Ladybeard! Welcome to yet another ridiculous installment of Cat with Beard! Yes! Yes!
You won't believe what happened to me today.
What happened to you today, Cathy
I
Cat?
was on my way to school with a half-eaten toast bread in my mouth because I was running late for school, and then from the skies fell this pretty wonderful Ladybeard, and turns out Ladybeard is the new student at my school now, and here we are.
This is
the anime trope episode.
This is the first I've heard of the fact that I fell from the sky this morning. I had no idea about this.
I tried to pick up all the tropes that just exist, running late for school with a toast in your mouth, you bump into a random person that ideally falls from the sky too, and
oh,
there
really?
you are, yeah.
Falls from the sky.
Yeah, used to be you bump into, the new other protagonist, but then recently it happens that they just fall from the sky.
They
for
literally fall from the sky.
Yeah, they generally just fall from the sky for whatever reason.
That's how Isaac Newton thought of gravity.
Yeah, exactly. To have cute anime characters fall from the sky.
No, I guess it could be worse, couldn't it?
Exactly. But you guys on the podcast can't see it right now, but you will see it later once it comes up on the YouTube. We are actually today Cat with Beard High School.
Yay! What's going on? Sensei? Notice me, senpai!
Senpai!
Oh my goodness, this is fantastic. We are the kawaiiest gakusei that ever existed.
Yeah, we're the cutest gakusei. And you see, your uniform is slightly different because you are the tenkosei, the new student that just came to school.
I thought I had a conservative uniform and you were kind of a crazy private schoolgirl. That's what I thought.
I can be the yutosei, the trope good student with the glasses, and you can be the troublemaker student.
All right. Youngie squatting down outside class, spitting. Like Kason, squatting,
like
pop on a squat.
squats.
God damn.
Mentioning summer in schools, though, in Japan, there's a big tradition to tell horror stories not around Halloween, but in summer. Do you know why?
That's right. I do know why. Do you want me to tell the people? Do you want to tell the people?
Tell the people.
I'll tell the people. I know why, because they wrote it on our script. That's why I know why. The reason for that is because, so the idea is during summertime when it's very, very hot, you can tell scary stories and that'll make you chilly from fear. Mm-hmm. And this is a tradition that goes back to Kabuki when they would stage kind of horror plays. Called a play in Kabuki, I guess so. Shows, pieces of theatre, art, works.
Culture.
They would stage scary Kabuki works during the summertime so the audience would feel chilly, and this was part of cooling the audience down during the height of summer. Could have just bought a fan.
Yeah.
But they did Kabuki.
That's also a time when a lot of anime do kimo dameshi, which pretty much means test your bravery.
Okay.
So when you have kind of walks in the dark, you see that a lot in anime where they have walk in the dark and then they get lost and they actually do see a ghost. They other students try to scare you. So it's kind of like a summer scary adventure or telling chilling stories by the fireplace.
By the fireplace in the summertime.
In the summer.
You're going to set this whole country on fire. My goodness, Cathy Cat.
That's probably a bad idea right now. It's very hot here.
I'll tell you a scary story, Cathy Cat.
Oh, okay.
There's a famous tunnel in Japan, which is called the Anunnaki Tunnel. And what actually happens there is an urban legend revolves around this tunnel. This is actually a tunnel to the Japanese village of the damned.
Is this tunnel a real tunnel?
It's a real freaking thing, yeah.
It's a real tunnel.
Actually there.
Oh, damn.
So there's a tunnel. It's like you can imagine there's a mountain or something, and there's a tunnel going through this mountain. And beyond the tunnel, it's allegedly is a village which is still inhabited, such. Oh. And however, it is the village of the damned, the village of the forgotten, the village of the forsaken, and hanging at the outside of this tunnel is a sign saying beyond this tunnel, the Japanese constitution no longer applies. It's a lawless society. It's a land where the inhabitants of this village have free reign. There will be no law. There will be no judge. There will be no straight to jail, do not pass, go, do not collect 200 pounds. So apparently in this tunnel and this village has been the site of several murders have happened there, actually. Yeah, because this village, I guess they're pretty antisocial. An outsider comes into their village and they murder them.
Oh, we're the damned, don't hang out with us.
Indiscriminately.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
It's like the children of the corn, except it's the children of the Anunnaki village. Interestingly as well, I actually thought the Anunnaki were also that race of lizard men aliens that allegedly brought Japanese to the Japanese and also Mesopotamian to the Mesopotamians.
Wait a second, lizard man aliens are possibly also living. Maybe they're also damned.
Well, maybe that is the damned. Maybe they're the Anunnaki lizard men.
Maybe the lizard men are just hungry. It's not murder, they're just feeding.
Good point. Yeah, actually, that's a great point.
Maybe.
I personally welcome our new lizard rulers, and I look forward to being a humble servant in their new lizard kingdom.
Lizard kingdom. Okay.
Tell me a horror story.
Different is one Osore-san. Osore-san, have you heard that one? Terror Mountain?
I don't know about Terror Mountain.
Terror Mountain. So it's one of
It sounds like a ride at bloody Disney World or something, right?
It's interesting because obviously Japan has so many like gods and believing in so many cultures and spirits and things like that. So sometimes it kind of tips in one direction and it becomes scary. So it can be sacred, but then it can tip and become a little bit scary at the same time. So same thing, like for example, sometimes some shrines and such will have like a little bit of a you shouldn't go there at night because at night there might be ghosts there, stuff like that. So one of the 3 most sacred places in Japan is said to be the gateway between the world and the afterlife, and that's the Osore-san. It's famous for its Itako shaman who can talk to the behalf of the dead people by possession. So he gets possessed by the dead people and then he talks on behalf of them.
Really?
You know how like mediums sometimes do it? It's like, oh, are you here? Are you here? And then speak through the voice, apparently.
Was this mountain on Terror Mountain, you reckon?
On Terror Mountain. I'm not quite sure how scary that is so far. I guess I'm like, okay, well, it's a sacred place.
Did you see the film Hereditary?
No.
Because that features mediums and the dead talking. That was a terrifying film. So if Terror Mountain has anything to do with Hereditary, maybe it's a Hereditary Terror Mountain.
Okay. Well, one more thing that I found really interesting when you mentioned the tunnel, I had to think of Spirited Away.
Oh, yes.
And there is actually the Yawata no Yabu Shirazu. I have to read that. That's a long title. So that is the forest of Spirited Away. So actually, there is a forest like that where you say that people who have been there got spirited
is that
away.
Right?
Yeah. So
that
forest actually exists in Japan, and it is fenced off from public, so people don't just for fun go in there.
Does that whole, I'm sorry, I forget in Spirited Away, what is it? It's a ryokan, isn't it?
So it's this young girl, and pretty much she and her family go through this long tunnel and end up in a different part of the forest and kind of get spirited away, meaning they are kind of in the realm of the spirits.
They go through a tunnel. They're driving in the car, aren't they? Do they go through a tunnel in the car?
I think there's also a long tunnel that they go through.
They eat some noodles and turn into pigs. Tunnel, right? I remember they turn into pigs.
Thank you. There is a tunnel.
There's a tunnel.
There's a weird scene with this long, dark tunnel, and it kind of seems to be the separation between the other world and that world. So.
Oh, well, look, I've been corrected.
But there is like a forest like that. So the forest has said, what I find really interesting is in abroad with Spirited Away, they had to kind of like, some things don't really quite translate. You could think that they're bad. Wait, what's happening? What's happening? Oh, you need to fix your your manager saying your headpiece is getting spirited away. Quick, do it. There you go.
Oh, wait, are we going to cut that? Or are we just going to keep on rolling?
Oh, just keep rolling.
Do you want to stick a pin in there, Shiori? No.
We're good.
All right,
okay.
I'll just deal with
I'll
it
let
then.
you know if I should see it on the other side. So, in Spirited Away, after they go to the other side, it seems to be that everyone is evil. And that's a very, maybe Western, black and white thinking. Well, actually, the thought is just, they're spirits. They are different from us. Okay. They don't mean to be bad. It's just, maybe they're hungry. Maybe that's like they have different emotions, which I find interesting because if you go and watch that movie, you think, why is everyone so mean or so evil? It's just, they're different. They're not human.
They did. Everyone in that film, when I first saw it, did strike me as quite aggressive with their speech patterns and such. Apart from those tiny little black things with eyes, they seem very friendly. Other than that,
cute, yeah. So I find that interesting. So in Japan, there's so many spirits and ghosts and oni and yokai, and there's so many of these things that sometimes it's not that they're bad. it's just, that's the way they're done. You can't just, for example, if a wolf tears a human apart, it's not that the wolf is bad. The wolf was probably just hungry.
Wolf
He
just
didn't
trying
do
to
it
get the
out
job
of,
done.
Yeah, he didn't do it out of spite of saying, haha, you stole my salary or something.
That's a very understanding attitude, isn't it? Hey, that's called perspective. Hey, we can all get outside ourselves sometimes and look at the world through the perspective of a hungry wolf. That's a wonderful thing. You are promoting harmony amongst human beings and others, Cathy Cat.
That's true. I'd love to. That's
This Halloween episode has become quite friendly. We better get back to something horrifying.
Yeah, let's go. Like ghosts. So in Japan, dead spirits who remain in this world because they hold a grudge. Have you watched the movie The Grudge?
Oh, yes. I was terrified. You too?
Yeah. Also The Ring. Have you watched The Ring?
Yeah, but I actually found The Grudge far scarier than The Ring. Because The Ring, there's only that one bit when she comes out of the telly that was frightening. With The Grudge, the whole thing was just a nightmare.
I think what I find interesting is, and what they did with The Ring and The Grudge is, our Western perspective is, if you do something for the ghost, their business is done, they'll be happy, they will leave, everything's fine. But while the Japanese ghosts seem to be very unforgiving, they're like, true. Oh no, I'm still angry. Like even though you think in the Ring, what turns it over, they do a lot of things to please the ghost, and they kind of save her body or something. Like they do some couple of things to please the ghost, but in the end, it's like, no, that's not what I wanted. I want you all to see this. Like it doesn't forgive. Same with The Grudge. That grudge does not get less by the people who are in the movie doing something.
Yeah, good point.
The grudge is just always there.
The grudge is always a continual grudge. It's an endless grudge.
Might also link to the fact that a lot of Japanese houses, if there was some death or some accident, get cheaper because no one wants to live there.
Well, because I got the grudge boy living in there.
Yeah,
now.
Who knows?
Right. What's his name? Sadako? Is that his name? Sadako?
No,
That's
Sadako
the chick
was
from
the
The
girl,
Ring.
yeah.
What's his name? The little white little demon boy? What's his name? Jeffrey. Yeah, let's call him Jeffrey. Kevin. Kevin the grudge boy.
Yeah, gosh, yeah.
Yeah, no, you don't want him living in your house. It'd be awful.
Yeah, no, seriously. That's what makes Japanese horror movie terrifying. You should watch The Grudge in Japanese. It's even more. There's some things you don't risk.
Why would I want to do that? It was already terrifying enough back like when I couldn't speak Japanese. Now it'll just be worse.
Oh yeah, they're absolutely terrifying.
I don't like being horrified. I like summertime for me is when you go to the beach and have joy. And I'm being forced to be terrified.
Telling scary stories.
I just want to throw a beach ball around.
Yeah, we just want to have a fun summer. Why are we terrorizing people?
Tell me about some traditional ghosts.
So we have the normal types of ghosts. We also have yokai. Yokai I find difficult to explain. I was actually asked before this on one of my streams, like what exactly is the difference between a ghost and a yokai? It says, for example, unlike ghosts, the yokais have powers beyond comprehension, and their thorough existential purpose is just to terrorize people. But then we have things like Yokai Watch recently, which is pretty much Pokemon with yokai. Which kind of made the yokai popular again.
Yokai Watch?
Yokai Watch. It used to be an anime.
Oh, right, okay.
So we kind of go around with yokai.
I was first introduced to the various yokai through Chibi Madokocho. I'm sorry, no, Gegege no Gitaro.
That's a classic.
Yeah, it's this old this anime from the 70s or something about a little boy he's part Oni, isn't he? Gitaro's part Oni, isn't he? Yeah, I think so, yeah. Yeah, and he's got this little goblin ghost family that he hangs out with, and then in every episode some new some new yokai has appeared and has a problem, and so they have to go and appease the yokai somehow. So you learn about all these very interesting traditional monsters. For instance, the umbrella with legs.
Oh yeah, I love the umbrella with legs.
Yeah, the umbrella with legs jumps around the place.
Oh, I love also the lantern with the broken lantern that has like a tongue stick out of it.
Yes, that's right. Tongue patch lantern. The wheel with the man's head in the middle of it. The fiery wheel with the man's head in the middle of it.
I might have seen that one.
These are all yokai. These are all traditional
Do you
Japanese
have a favorite yokai?
Probably Umbrella Boy. What's his name? His name is just Kasa, isn't it? Kasa? Tobu Kasa? Yeah. I think Umbrella Boy. How about you?
My favorite one is the Kappa.
Oh, the Kappa.
The Kappa is my favorite. Like, because I have a bit of a history with the Kappa. I saw a boy, like its dog and its Kappa as like an animation. And then I saw the Journey, was it Journey East? Where it's kind of like the monk, a monkey, a kappa, and a pig. And it's like the kappa I saw it so much on Japanese television as humans playing a kappa and animated kappas that I thought the kappa was real.
Oh, you thought it was a real... an oriental being. You thought that was a
saw
real
it so
thing.
much on TV when I came the first time, and I just thought it's like some kind of duck aquatic figurine. I didn't know that the little ball in its head was supposed to contain water. If it bows, it can't move, that kind of stuff. I didn't know that. It just seemed to be some kind of duck amphibian creature, and I thought it existed. So I called my friends in high school and I asked them if they could take me to Ueno Zoo so we could see the kappa.
And what happened then?
My friend number one said, that's great. Bring cucumbers. They love cucumbers. Smiling internally, realizing what was going on. Then I called my more goody two-shoes friend who said, they don't exist. I mean, maybe they exist, but they don't exist there. You will not find them in Ueno Zoo.
Your first friend took the mickey out of you.
Oh, yeah. I would have taken cucumbers and gone to the zoo and asked the zookeeper where the kappas are. For sure.
You totally should have.
For
He would have
sure.
loved it. He would have been like, oh, it's funny foreign girl messing with about kappa. Do they actually eat cucumber?
The good kappa nowadays eat cucumber. The bad kappa from the old days, they would eat your intestines from your peach upwards.
I beg your pardon?
Eat your intestines from your peach upwards.
Well, I'll stick with the cucumber group of kappa, I reckon.
I
Okay, it's going to
prefer
probably...
the cucumber story too.
Cucumbers are far easier to get hold of.
Yeah.
And cheap.
Yeah, you just if you meet a kappa, you don't want to find out what he prefers in his diet, so you just stay away. There's some little funny things with yokai, like they all have their own rules, they all have their own like little powers that they do. So for example, if I heard that if a kappa can drowns your horse, as it so happens, you can actually, if you catch it drowning your horse, you can tell it off, and it has to write an apology to you.
Stop. Japanese contingency, is this true? If your kappa drowns your horse, he has to write you an apology. Why would he drown your horse?
You can ask it.
There's a very specific way to murder a horse. Why would he... Firstly, why would the kappa drown the horse? Secondly, what's his problem with the horse in the first place?
Yeah, they're little troublemakers. A lot of
Is that just
yokai are
it?
troublemakers. They're just
trying to...
mischievous troublemakers.
That's it, really? It's like the Mogwai in Gremlins.
I don't know. They're not gremlins.
No, maybe it's
not
nothing
quite
like
the
that
same,
at
not
all.
quite the same. But there's good kappa and bad
it's
kappa. I
not
think that's
in any way related.
I think all kind of yokai kind of get flipped on their head. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're just bad.
I didn't know that the kappa had water on its head, so it could
Yeah, it's supposed to have like a little bowl with water in its head. If a kappa
Oh,
comes
the bowl! That's what that is!
Yeah, that's apparently what that is. I found that out later.
Oh, I didn't know what that was.
And it always has to have some water in it. So if it comes to attack you to eat your intestines, the best thing you can do, you can bow to it. It will feel obliged to bow back, meaning the ball in its head will empty the water and then it will be paralyzed. So that's your way to get away in case it attacks you.
Really?
You will actually, if you go into the mountains in Japan, there will be signs on the road sometimes saying, don't go off the path, beware. And then it has a little kappa as a symbol on it too.
Really?
Yeah. So again, how am I supposed to think that they're fake if they're even on roadside?
Yeah, the city of Taito in East Tokyo, the Taito city emblem is a kappa. Like the city's image character is a kappa. Ah!
There's a lot of kappa around. They're like a cultural...
Kappa everywhere. Tell me about some more yokais and things.
We have oni.
Oni,
the ogres,
yep.
The ogres, oni-shaped, like human form, horns and fangs. There's a lot of oni that go around. And for example, in February, you know Setsubun?
Yep.
Setsubun is like a festival, guys, where you try to get the evil out of your house. And you shout. Do you know?
I don't know. What do you shout?
Oni wa soto! Fuku wa uchi! Like the ogre out of the house and the luck come into the house.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just threw beans at him.
Yep, you throw beans around the house.
Throw beans at him.
That's ideally, figuratively, you're throwing in at the oni, at the ogre to
But
get it off your house.
they have big festivals, don't they? When there's a big oni and all the children throw beans at the oni. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I think that's been a thing
big
recently.
matsuri. A bean throwing matsuri.
Bean throwing.
Beans are quite nutritious in a lot of ways. Yeah.
What are they like demons? Like it seems, are they demons or similar things in your country? Is there any kind of culture about that?
Ah, bloody Australians! Look, listen to me. Yeah, we have a ghost in a billabong. Do you know what a billabong is?
Is a billabong like a bong?
No, a billabong is it's like a lake.
Okay.
Billabong's like a lake, small
I
one.
thought that was like a surfing wear or a skateboard.
Yeah, it
ride?
is. It's named after the Billabong, which is the actual geographical landmark of Billabong.
There's a ghost in a billabong.
Well, yeah, because we have a story called Waltzing Matilda, which is a traditional Australian folk story about a man who steals sheep, and then the police find him, and rather than rather than getting arrested, he jumps into the billabong and drowns himself, and so therefore his ghost now haunts the billabong.
So he's a sheep stealer is now the ghost of the billabong.
Yeah, he's a sheep thief. He's a criminal. The man's a criminal. All Australian legends are all criminals. Our heroes are all criminals.
That sounds very Australian. I mean, it was like how Australia was made, right? They shipped a lot of criminals over.
That's how white Australia was made, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, there's probably a lot more history there.
There was a lot going on before white Australia.
But your ghosts and your bad people are generally criminals.
Yeah.
That's
most of us are criminals. Pretty much all of white Australia is just criminals. More or less. Notice how Australian my accent's got when we start talking about this? Yeah. You can't hear my consonants
I'm starting to not understand you anymore.
Yeah, it's dropped to my consonants A. I better go back to presenting.
Oh, okay.
What about Germany? I'm sure you guys have some bananas.
We have a lot of ghosts as well, and I think we also have Walpurgisnacht, which is the night of the witches, which is still like a big thing. We have a lot of witches and ghosts, and we have also a couple of nights when some weird creatures come and haunt. I think there is called Rauhnächte, I can't even explain it. Certain types of nights, Rauh nights, I'd call it.
At Christmas, you have Krampus.
Oh yeah, that's another stuff. You have nice Santa, which is Saint Nicholas, and you have bad Santa, which is this guy dressed in just darks and has coal all over their face, and they just terrorize kids. So, yeah, it's terrifying.
And I was told by a German that traditionally at Christmas time, you would on Christmas Eve, the village would nominate one person to be St. Nicholas and one person to be Krampus. That's his Austrian name, but it'd be Krampus, the
evil Santa.
And then he would come to your house, and the parents had the right to say to the pair, my child has been good, you can give them a present, in which case they give him a present, or my child was not good this year, you can give him 3 strokes. And so Krampus would beat you, he'd physically beat you as a child. We've gone off topic from what we're meant to be talking about, haven't we? Quite substantially.
Oh dear. I don't know about the beating, but I know that it generally would be good kids would get a gift, and bad kids would get a lump of coal.
Lump of coal, yeah, the old coal.
Which, to be honest, is not so bad because our nights are very, very cold, and coal must actually have been still a good gift.
Yeah, you could burn that to make some energy.
It's still better than nothing.
It's not good for the ozone layer. Just be warned.
So we have a story here. Would you like to read it? Shall I read it?
Let's go. You go. The woman on the bridge.
All right. This has actually been told to us by one of the people who actually work on this podcast. And that happened. It's a real true story.
This is the real thing, people. Hey, we're not messing about with some namby-pamby making up things about Japanese ghosts. This is the real deal, people. Prepare yourself. If you're easily frightened, pull your security blankie up around your chin because you're going to need it. Now, hit him, Cathy Cat.
All right. A woman on a bridge. So when the writer was a sophomore in university, so our friend here, he lived in an apartment near a river. River is always a bit of a warning thing in a lot of cultures, to be honest. One day in the middle of the night, he decided to go and get a can of beer and a few snacks at the convenience on his bicycle.
The where?
Convenience store on the bicycle.
Convenience store.
You need to get across a bridge to get to the convenience store because it's on the other side of the river.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, bridge, river. Okay, anyways, he gets his food, he cycles back home and comes across the bridge again and sees a woman walking dressed completely in a black kimono with a black parasol, and she smelled very strong of incense and the kind of funeral smell. Delightful.
Just come back from a Marilyn Manson gig.
And he passes her, and he passes her and keeps cycling. And then when he gets to the entrance of his apartment, the same woman from the bridge was in front of his apartment.
Oh, god damn.
Same kimono, same parasol, and the same smell. Oh. So, yeah, we asked him, what did you do?
Yeah,
what would you guys do? If the same person, clearly you were on a bicycle, she can't catch up with you that fast. What would you guys do? What would you have done?
I would have went, "I stinky goth chick! Get away from the door!" That's what I would have done. How about you?
I would probably not have gone into my house and called someone. I'm like, I think I have a problem here. So according to him, the convenience store, the bridge is about 10 minutes by bike. So there was no way that she could be faster than him over in front of his house. Right? So
Holy moly, man.
We asked him in the end, like, what he did after that. So apparently he really didn't. He was like, oh, there she is again. And then luckily there was a back entrance to his place. And he used the back entrance to get in. And then afterwards it kind of struck him that was actually pretty creepy. You know what? Sometimes in the situation you don't really think about it. So it was pretty creepy.
Yeah, that's a bit... I reckon I'd freak out. I don't know if I'd handle that well. He had another story, but he seems to have a tendency for seeing the undead.
There seems to be a thing here in Japan, which they call Reikan. Reikan is when you can see or sense ghosts or spirits.
Your third eye, right? We talk about your third eye being open or closed. The third eye in the middle of your...
They I think, is from the spirits. Kan is from being able to feel the spirits, something like that. So some people in Japan, you see a lot in anime and manga, they seem to just be more perceptive to these kind of things. And some people are just, they don't see, they don't know, they can't
Are you?
tell.
Can you see the spirits?
No. Thank God.
Me neither. Right, thank God, right? I would be... Yo, I wonder how many of there are. If they're all over the place, I don't know if you'd be, like, just see one every now and again and be like, ah! Or if they're just all over the place, you end up treating them like, you know, like children with randoseru.
There's a lot
like,
of...
there's another one, you know.
There's a lot of anime around, like, people who apparently can see it and they feel, like, so stressed in their life because they keep seeing them. It's a little bit like the Sixth Sense, right? You keep seeing them everywhere and they kind of, like, all just terrorize you. So,
Third eye.
ooh, you
Third eye
don't really
open.
want that.
Let me tell you, I'm going to announce the name of our staff who has this third eye. Is that acceptable? Yuma! Yuma is the name of this man.
Yuma!
Who with his third eye wide on open. He has another story from his childhood,
All right,
actually.
bring it on.
Should I do it? I was going to say I'll do a Yuma voice, but I can't do his voice. So he said his mother, recently Yuma's mother told him this story. It turns out when he was about 4 years old one day, he was playing with his Lego, or as you do as a young child. And according to his mom, he got up from his Lego blocks, and he walked. And he walked to the front door. And when he arrived at the front door, he just stood there for several minutes, looking up, staring into nothingness. When his mother asked him, "Young man, what are you doing?" He replied, "Oh, I'm just looking at the woman in the white dress."
I must say I'm particularly weak to ghost stories. I don't know why they freak me out. I'd like to say I don't believe in them, but I'm way too freaked out to hold that argument down.
Here's what I notice. This story from childhood, woman in a white dress. His woman on the bridge story from adulthood,
Woman in
woman in a black kimono. Clearly, he only sees ghosts in black and white.
And clearly, it seems to only be the ladies that come.
Yeah,
to
good point.
Yes,
Yeah, they're all girl ghosts.
You're pulling the ladies.
Good point.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
maybe this is a
Yuma.
great power to have. Suddenly there are ladies
Hey,
everywhere.
all the ladies.
All the ladies.
Hey.
All the single ladies. 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 Put your hands up. Oh my God, all the single ghost ladies.
But we have to actually wrap it up here. There is more coming your way, ladies and gentlemen. Ladybeard, first, do you want to announce anything?
Hi! You can go and follow my things on the internet. Ladybeard_Japan. That's the place to find me on all the places. And my pop group, Babybeard_Japan. Cathy Cat, yourself?
I don't have the same organ going on here. Cathy Cat _ TV. You can find me pretty much anywhere on the internet, as well as also on Japan Railway Journal, on the international TV channel NHK World. Yeah.
And how can people send us an email?
Well, guys, we actually have a Twitter now. Cat with Beard has a Twitter, so in case you want to be updated about the episodes coming up on as a podcast or the episodes coming up on YouTube, be sure to follow our Twitter. All the stuff is there, and also cool. If you want to see Ladybeard dressed in a bunny suit, all kind of tweets are getting retweeted there as well. Only the best stuff of the internet's there. So yeah, be sure find our Cat with Beard Twitter, and if you haven't found it yet already, please find us also on YouTube. And finally, wrapping this up, very important as well, please rate this podcast the highest stars possible.
And send us an email. You didn't say the email.
That as well. If you have anything vital you want to give us all the praise and love, send it to nippon@joqr.net. Thanks.
I started that section with, Cathy Cat, where can people send us an email? And you went through a long spiel about everything except where they can send us an email.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we've got time for today. We'll see you again next time for another enthralling installment of Cat with Beard! And now back to school.
Yes, king kong kong kong, king kong